In this session, I'm going to explain code coverage, specifically the type of code coverage that is mandatory in the avionics industry. I'm referring to the MCDC code coverage. I'm using Visual Studio IDE here and together with the Parasoft C and C++ test plugin here. The Parasoft C and C++ test plugin allows us to perform static and dynamic analysis of C and C++ programs in the safety critical domain. I will be using this function here, decide, which accepts 3 booleans and returns a boolean. The Parasoft plugin has this parameterization feature, which is an Excel file or grid-like data source that provides us the value of the A, B, and C invocation to the function. Let's first try to take a look at one of this table. From the table here, with column A, B, and C, has only 2 rows. The first row, passing the values false, false, false to A, B, and C, make the function return false. And the second row, passing the value of true, true, false into A, B, and C accordingly, resulting to the function returning true. So together, the 2 rows here can give us 100% line coverage, simply because the first dataset returns false and the second dataset returns true. And from the function implementation that we have here, it covers 100% line coverage. And let us try to execute this test case. So this will be the test case associated with the table, and I will run it now. And we can see that the line coverage is highlighted, covering all lines, as well as a measurement here in detail, 100%. But it will go to the part here in the execution tab here. We only have 33% MCDC. Now this begs the question, what is then MCDC? How is it that we have 100% line coverage, everything is being executed in the function, yet by MCDC standard, it is only 33%. How do we add more to increase MCDC coverage measurement? Now let me delete this first one. And I will focus to the MCDC, so I will disable the line coverage from now on. Go to the Parasoft setting. From the setting here, we can see that there are other type of code coverage aside from MCDC and line coverage, as you can see here. In the previous run, I only enabled line on MCDC. I will disable the line coverage and only enable MCDC coverage so that we can focus what MCDC is all about. I will save the settings now. Okay. Let us try to run another test from another data source. So I will be using this data source, which has 8 rows. This is the exhaustive possible combinations of what could go on into A, B, and C. Since the function has 3 parameters A, B, and C, 2 to the 3 gives us 8. This is the exhaustive possible combinations of those. This will give us certainly 100% MCDC coverage. However, this is not MCDC yet. The modified version is not here yet. But first, let me run this unit test driven by this data. completed. Unlike line coverage, which can be visualized through highlights in the line, MCDC could not be visualized, but we can only see the reports here. Indeed, because we exhausted all possible combinations of A, B, and C that can influence the function return value, we have 100% MCDC. MCDC, therefore, cares about what can go on to the values of A, B, and C that influences the behavior of the function. And because in our first this case only has two raw, go back the data here. A is false, B is false, C is false. But what about for the other values of what can go on to A, B, and C? It was not listed here, therefore the MCDC was 33% during that test run. On the other hand, here we exhausted all possible values of A, B, and C, and all of these values resulted to a false and a true, therefore covering 100% line at the same time and 100% MCDC. But this is not MCDC yet. To make this MCDC, we have to modify this data here. We have to modify the condition, and that is what is meant by modified condition. This is not the modified condition. This is the absolute unforgiving permutations of three possible values is 2 to the 3 or 8. If this case happens to take a long time to complete, exhausting all of these test run will make your unit test cases takes time to complete. By MC, there's a formula in MCDC. Instead of 2 to the 3, the MCDC formula states that there's actually only, instead of 2 to the n, it's actually n plus 1. With n being 3 here, therefore we really do not need 8 rows in order to have 100% MCDC. We only need n plus 1 or 4 rows. And I have to highlight that there's a subsumption principle that if you have 100% MCDC, automatically you have 100% line coverage. So MCDC is the superior type of code coverage. Now let me go to another data set here. This one has 6 rows. And let me run the test case from these 6 rows here. Because it only has 6 rows, the MCDC measurement is 67%. It has increased a little bit. So let's try to visit the other data set here. It only has 3 rows. Let's try to run these cases. Yet the MCDC measurement is 67%. Now, how do we increase MCDC coverage? Now we can highlight a line here, and I'm interested in line 6. Okay, so or an ask for advice, or line 4, but I'm interested in line 6. The Parasoft C++ test plugin has this feature called Coverage Advisor. It will advise you of what needs to be done in order to increase MCDC coverage. So if we look at the table here, we only have 3 rows. I'll right click here at line 6 and click Show in Coverage Advisor. Coverage Advisor is aware of the current code coverage active, It provides us two solutions. However, the second solution is already covered, true, false, false. It tells us that true A is true, B is false, and C is false. If we look at the table, we already have that A is true. Yep. So we can't use this advice here. However, we can use the solution one that is provided, saying that A equals false, skipping B and C, meaning that the B and C are don't care condition. We just need to make A equals false, and whatever is the value of B and C is irrelevant. And that is how we get into line 6. So this is the advice from the advisor, how to reach line 6 by making A equals false. So let us go to the table here and add a new row, false. And since B and C are don't care, I'll just make them true and false. And of course, the result is false. Save. So we now have 4 rows. From a total of 8, we modified the row, we modified the condition to reduce it into 4. If this case takes a long time, now it will finish faster because there are 4. The function will be called 4 times using this data. So I will run the modified condition now with 4 rows. And indeed, we now have 100% MCDC using the modified condition with 4 rows. So to recall, the exhaustive possible values can give us 100% MCDC, but there's no modification yet. So this is not yet the modified condition, yet gave us 100% MCDC, but this one, the reduction of from 8 to 4 is the modified condition decision coverage, also giving us 100% MCDC measurement. And through the help of the code advisor, we are advised to add this fourth row here, which is A should be false, and the B and C are don't care conditions. So this is the settings of the Parasoft tool that I have license. And this functions is made possible by the coverage advisor feature that is enabled here. You go to the license, your current license should show what features that is active in your license. The coverage advisor being enabled is the one that's responsible for advising us the missing MCDC conditions to achieve 100%.